to the Off-Grid family. Today we're going to be revisiting an old project. Now, if you've been a watcher since the beginning, you will recognise this little device. This was one of the first things I made for the channel, and what this is a water getter outer of papery material. Basically it compresses paper and gets rid of all the water. This was for my fire bricks project, which is where I made these thin tubular blocks of paper which would dry and they made perfect like logs for the fire. And we used old catalogues, we used junk mail, various other things, and often all the bits of documentation that you need to shred, rather than burning out a shredder's motor or buying another shredder, we decided we needed to do something with it. So being in a paperless society, we shouldn't have much of that, but ironically enough we do. The reason I'm revisiting it was we still use this. The problem with it is it's got a bit loose around here because we've used it so many times, so you end up having to push down on it. And my wife was just looking around on one of these buy and sell pages and someone had this for sale. This is exactly the same as this one, however it's a bit bigger in the sense that you put your paper pulp in here, this goes on the top, and then you squish it together so all the water goes out, and then you can actually take the entire thing out. Bonk, one fire brick. So we're going to use this, we're going to go through the whole process again, and we're going to make some full-size fire bricks. Now this won't mean that this is out of action, because I actually make the little thin ones for my rocket stove. They fit in exactly, so it's absolutely handy as hell. But we need to get the paper pulp, so I'll talk you through how to do that now. This entire process is really simple. What you're going to need is you're going to need a barrel or container that will hold water, and then all your junk mail. Junk mail, copies of letters that you don't need, all of that kind of thing. So let's get that all together now. Okay, so this is the barrel I'm going to use. We usually use rainwater, but for this project I'm not going to. And then we've got all of the letters that were supposed to be shredded or whatever, because it's illegible once this process has been done. So they literally, I rip them up, or well, me and the kids rip them up. They quite enjoy all of that, especially the old bills. They're the ones I enjoy. There you go. All of that in. Get in. Boom. And another thing we found that's quite good for this is old egg cartons. Now, we've got a chicken, and she used to lay. She's an old bird now. She's a pet, not a layer anymore. But we have all these old egg cartons left over, and we found that they are brilliant for this project or this process. The one thing we will say is that because they're so porous, they do absorb a hell of a lot of water. But just rip them up, put them in. Once I've done that, I'll get back to you. Okay, so there it is, all full up with all the egg cartons and all the junk mail and all the old bills that need to be shredded and all that stuff. Do you want to be in the video, Shadow? Come here then. Sit down. Go. Right, oh, you're not in. Come over here. Right, sit down. Wait. Say hi. Hiya. Right, go on out. Right. Now I had put water in it, but it's not going to be enough. So what I need to do now is put some more water in, and here's some I poured earlier. That may be enough, I'm not entirely sure. And what you need to do is get a purpose-built mixing stick and just basically make sure it's all soaked. This isn't a very good mixing stick. Yeah, and I'm going to need some more water. What I want to do is make sure that there's water covering nearly all of it. So I'll get some more water. Yeah, that's better. Okay, and again, as I say, just get everything so it's wet and sodden, and what will happen is over the next few days it will break down into pulp, and that's what we want. Now you don't have to do it on such a large scale. We start off doing this in a tiny little bucket, and then all the junk there will just get chucked in the bucket, and then once it was full we'd make some more. There you go, everything is completely covered in water now. What I need to do for the next like 3 or 4 days is just come along, poke it all down, mix it all up, make sure it's all absolutely soaking, and it will, as I say, just it'll all break down. The egg cartons break down quickest because they're so porous and they're already made of recycled paper. And then once it's at the pulped stage, I'll show you what to do next. I'm not going to show you me mixing it every day or anything silly. See you in a few days. One thing I forgot to mention, if you have children, make sure you put a lid on it, because if you don't, you'll end up having soggy water all over your house. Soggy water, I meant soggy paper. I left it for about 5 or 6 days. I would have liked to have left it a bit longer, but I need to get on with this project. I need to use them. Also, the longer you leave it, it will start to get a pungent smell to it. It's, you know, about 2 weeks, you're fine. After that, it does start to like break down and give off some nasty smells, but it's still usable even then. So we need to get to a place that it doesn't matter if you get a bit of water everywhere. Ideally, I'd go outside, but it is way too windy to be able to record in, so I will go into my bathroom. Okay, again, we're back in my bathroom for the second time, doing exactly the same job, making fire bricks. I'll bring the camera down so you can see from a downward level, and hopefully I'll get as much on camera as possible. Okay, with this one, you do exactly the same as you do with this one, just on a larger scale. What we need to do first is strain off some of the paper. I'm not going to the toilet, I promise. And then the first blop in. No matter how long you leave this paper for, if it's over a few days, it will get a scent to it that isn't the nicest. What I'd advise doing is giving the barrel or container, whatever, a mix, a decent mix from the bottom, you know, all at the bottom as well as the top and everything, before you start. Give it like 10 minutes, and that just gets rid of some of the gas, some of the scent. Now pack this as much as you want, but after you compress it, I wouldn't advise trying to compress it again, like if you put more paper on it, due to the fact once you've compressed it and then you add more, it tends to separate there as it dries. Not always, but you know, you want solid logs, don't you? Okay, and once you've got the amount you want in there, now this is quite full, pop the top on, close it up, start using muscle. Now I was thinking about getting a piece of wood, plonking it here and seeing if I could sit on it, and that way I don't have to use as much strength to push it down, but I don't think I'll do that. I'll end up breaking it. Right, tip it over once you've squished it down, because water will settle in the top, and do it again. The more pressure you put down at this point, the more water you will get out, and the stronger your brick will be, and the quicker it will dry. Okay, there we go. Brick number 1. Come on. Now it's hard to get out at first, not only because it's pushed out the sides, but like roots in a thing, they pop out, the paper pops out the bottom a little bit, so you just have to free that up a little bit. For this kind of job you need 3 hands. Nearly there. Okay, and there's our brick. And it's solid enough, but obviously let it dry and it will be perfect firewood. So, on to the next one. There's nothing more satisfying than burning bills, and when you can actually make them into a sort of usable source of fuel, that's even better. Too much, getting too eager. And down we go again. This side doesn't like getting pressed down at all. Maybe I overpacked this side, it's on my right hand, so I probably do add more there. Okay, and tip that. There's a little bit of surface water. Again, just tease it out. Brick number 2. Now, just here, I obviously hadn't pushed down enough, and as I'm trying to pull it out, it is trying to break away. But as long as you go gentle, once it dries, it will still dry solid even in that corner. But this one I obviously haven't put enough pressure on to squeeze it all out. Please try. You not agree? Just all this sort of stuff you should know how to do. And that would be here. Let's make it. Something new. I'd like to future, you know? Come back now. One thing I've learned through doing this is the smaller the paper is, the easier this machine is to use. And some of the paper that we put in and ripped up, I obviously wasn't mixing the bottom of the barrel properly, and I did actually find that harder to compress for obvious reasons than this stuff, which is all the small bits. This compressed beautifully, but this is the last one, so that's why it compressed beautifully, typically enough. Now, as you'll see, I've sort of bent that one, so I'll just plonk it back in, give it another quick squeeze. There we go. Oh, I shouldn't have let go of that. There we go. That one's obviously broken, but it's still usable. So let's see what we got out of that lot, shall we? There's our little pyramid of paper, well, fire bricks now. I'll leave the video there, I'll let them dry off, and then I will actually show you them being burnt. I've got a lot of review videos to do that I just haven't got round to. But yeah, I'll let them dry out and I'll show you how effective they are. These things, the more compressed they are, the longer they burn for. And if you compress them properly, they will literally outlive a log on a fire. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Bye!